Every day you feel as though something within of you is being wasted. Still not sure what it is though. Laert is my name. This is the gods of SEMEN, the place the prohibited truth about its inner power will at last be unveiled. Having years of study on deep spirituality, vibrational neuroscience, and ancestral seminal retention techniques, I am here to show you how to release your vital energy, regain your focus, increase your spiritual power, and reconstruct the man you were destined to be. If you miss energy, motivation, direction, if you are caught in cycles of tension and silent irritation, know it is a lack of preservation of its essence, not of strength. Seminal retention is the approach back to your inner kingdom, not only discipline. Important, I respond to inquiries only to those who offer a thanks above $5 in the comments. Not only does this help the channel, but it also pushes YouTube to provide this wisdom to more guys who need to awaken right now. It is to the very last, since what I shall discuss here can permanently alter your path in life. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell, and join this community of men who decided to awaken, recover the power the system aimed to eradicate. You start your change right now. Few people pay attention to this appeal, even less have the bravery to respond. That is the call of the final change. He shows himself in long silences rather than clear yells or signals. In the quiet restlessness you experience during loneliness. In the sense that something is still indispensable, notwithstanding all that is accomplished or lost. The call reaches the selected ones, those who realize they were born to something greater than survival and chasing empty pleasures, even though they lack completely comprehended knowledge. But the contemporary society does everything to mute its voice. You were taught to run after status, distractions, stimulation early on. He was taught to hide his superior instincts, smother his energy, lose his link with the eternal. Matrix depends on you to consume, not on your thinking. You want to repeat, you want not to wake up. The whole system was designed to suppress its spiritual warrior aspect, and many silently agreed to live sleeping. But the start of inner awareness has already passed. You felt already, on the evenings when everything appeared to be vacant, the moments when pornography, quick gratification, or distractions no longer occupied. These were indicators when you asked in silence, at moments when exhaustion, anxiety, or lack of purpose made you, is that all? Little gaps in your vibrational field, seeking to rouse you. And now, if you are hearing these words, the last transformation is knocking on your door. The call still rings inside you. Would you then overlook one more time? Alternatively, will you at last respond? There has never been true strength in the muscles, in look, in volume of the voice, or in anything else. Vibrant is the force creating invisible empires and doubling the planet to its presence. It is enthusiastic. The true alpha radiates. He does not impose. Since his energy shapes the surroundings, he does not have to master by physical power. Man stops looking outside of himself and starts to gather the single force that cannot be duplicated, his own vital energy, therefore waking the spiritual alpha. And this is where the most effective instrument of your rebirth becomes seminal retention. Every day you engage 3 power centers: the center of survival, basic force; the center of the heart, purpose and magnetism; and the center of the mind, vision and wisdom. You hold your inner fire instead of wasting it. Preserved and transformed, sexual energy rises like a golden serpent through the spine, honing its presence, slashing your thoughts, and energizing your spirit. This energy serves more than only physical nourishment. It is the link connecting your body to its better nature. It is the fire carrying prophets, fighters, and creators. This is the difference between the average man, nervous, empty, and predictable, of the superior, magnetic, concentrated, and unquestionable man. Every drop of held energy is like a vibrational money placed into your spiritual account. Every tried temptation leaves an invisible mark at its intended site. And day by day, Little by little, without witnesses or praise, the spiritual alpha living within of you starts to ascend. This is the way things work. Not taking any quick cuts. None of magic formulas. Just discipline, awareness, and confidence in something higher, pulsating in your own chest. The change is silent until the day your presence is intolerable. Alpha waking becomes the axis itself, while regular men pursue validation. And the world feels. And the planet reacts as well. Before spiritual coronation arrives, the last evidence, it will be a beguiling invitation rather than a declared war. Women, simple pleasures, sophisticated distractions, everything that formerly seemed benign will start to show itself more powerfully, brighter, more insistingly. There is no accident about it. It's strategy. Since the world is aware that the emerging man poses more threat than any outside revolution. Considered as a pillar, a man with focused energy silently challenges the norm of mediocrity. Should you trip now, return to the cycle. If you object, go across the line few others follow. Your everyday goal becomes safeguarding your thoughts and aura. It is about creating such a strong energy field that temptations dissipate before contacting your conscience, not only about avoiding stimuli. It is observing your eyes, words, ideas. It is to understand that every concession, no matter little, breaks through the vibrational shield. The world will not pardon you for lifting. Instead, it will employ every available means to drag you back to slumber. You have to be a fortress in your head, your will, wall. There is silence about this fight. No one cheers, nobody notices. And exactly for this reason, that is, the one defining her actual metamorphosis, you will have to lose now to conquer always. Cut off your need for instant gratification. Give up your young need for approval. Get rid of your need to answer the call from the low pleasures. But what the world cannot create, spiritual sovereignty, will blossom in place of these losses. Clarity for which one cannot purchase. Peace just conquered, cannot be given. And something inside you will permanently change when you pass this last challenge. For the spiritual alpha has been created for eternity, while regular men live for what is easiest. And who wins the last temptation? Not found in the regular world. He resides in the domain of those who shape reality. You stop having to prove anything when the transformation is real. Your presence is sensed before your arrival. Your energy talks before your mouth. Though perceived as the firmer, the spiritual alpha does not show itself as the strongest. You have inherent magnetism. It is not forced. He is at content with whom he became. He is not seeking to satisfy the world anymore. Those who feign power and those who carry power differ in that the true need not express itself. It changes the atmosphere just by existing. Women start to see this. Society experiences. Your frequency exposes who you are without your having to utter a word. You enter a space and your temperature changes. Some desire to absorb this energy. Others go away unable to sustain the vibratory intensity confronting their masks. But you respond not at all. You noted. Because when energy is refined and high, the spiritual alpha realizes that magnetism is a result rather than a goal. You start to become the center instead of chasing it. Not living for acceptance is this invisible and fascinating man. He lives for the purpose. Your emphasis is inside yourself. Your medium of discipline is quiet. For those who sense beyond the surface, its glory is invisible but clearly evident. He vibrates at another frequency. He doesn't have to compete. He rules with his looks. He doesn't have to shout. And he smiles when the world tests it as he understands that he has triumphed inside, where it counts most. This is the beginning of the new life, when the spiritual alpha builds, magnetizes and leads simply, and fails to be accepted, since those who share one's spirit become unavoidable. Not for your doing, but for those who have evolved. The time has arrived to access the knowledge that might transform your life if you believe that you possess something strong and only waiting to be awakened. Presenting my new book, Alchemy of the Gods, a real manual of personal transformation and spiritual awakening. I expose the mysteries of Kundalini, crystalline oil, and the path of spiritual emancipation most men will never learn. Get ready to break the invisible blockages holding you back and reconnect your energy for the best use, therefore activating your maximum potential. The book comes in physical, digital, and audiobook formats. So you may decide how you wish to absorb this in-depth knowledge by now reading the link in the description and the fixed comment. First of all, though, I have a surprise you not expected. No audiobook Semen Retention Success Path. A more than 2 hours addressing the 6 essential pillars to master fundamental retention with consciousness, activate your natural magnetism, and build the life you were born to live. If you want to unlock your vital energy and accelerate your personal development. Furthermore, anyone who purchases audiobook today still gets 30% off the Art of Semen Retention for Men. Additional ebook, a guide with 20 pages of advanced strategies for spiritual progress, emotional harmony, and reconnection with its intended use. Do not miss this chance for total metamorphosis. To unlock special benefits, early access to new information, priority responses, and special lives, and help maintain this movement alive, giving wisdom and awakening to more men worldwide. Also become an official member of the channel. Click the link right now, pick your path, and begin your climb. Your great future expects your choice right now. The spiritual alpha awakens, and instead of demanding leadership, he naturally encourages it. Your presence guides, your vibration organizes, your intellect projected paths. He need not yell commands or use force. His internal coherence becomes a quiet directive. People start searching for their vision, their opinion, their protection, not because he asked, but rather because he has turned into a pillar of stability in a society on collapse. Leading becomes the unavoidable result of who you grew to be, rather than a purpose. The appeal also varies in kind. You cease mimicking postures, playing social games, donning masks to impress. Its simple existence starts to draw what is fit for its new frequency. More aligned women, better possibilities, more devoted friendships. You attract, you do not have to search. Painstakingly, free from a forced plan. Just for the purity and depth of the vibratory field you created in stillness, discipline, and opposition. And from this new state, you start to create an internal empire, something the common will never come into touch. High frequency, objective completed, congruence with its genuine essence defines a legacy not formed of stones, fame, or outside approval. His life turns from a series of unsatisfied searches into a deliberate building trip. Every decision you take, every habit you maintain, every energy you guard becomes vibrational bricks of this invisible yet perpetual kingdom. Lead without needing to send, attract without running, construct without proving. This is the new life you were invited to lead, since the man who won himself has already prevailed in all spheres. And now he makes his mark in the spiritual realm his presence radiates, not in the words he pronounces. There is no outside event that marks the latest change. This is the moment you understand the God, the warrior, the alpha. Their lives always resided inside you. All you had to remember was to get up. The spiritual alpha realizes he never needed permission to be who was born to be when the awakening is over. He understands that the reality they have tried to impose, composed of constraints, distractions, and fake freedom, is only an illusion meant to help his energies be scattered. Real power is not fitting for this system. It is transcendingly great. And now, with your whole vital energy, your mind armored, your spirit in line, you start to create your own world. You no longer bargain for crumbs of pleasure out of dreams. You no longer clarify your approach for others who find it incomprehensible. You do not use your voice-seeking acceptance where you were called to be an exception. The spiritual alpha moves with intent. Every idea he decides to feed, every action he takes, every habit he supports molds his inner reality from the inside out. Its interior state is no longer determined by its exterior form. Your internal state orders the outside world. The most amazing is also the weakening of world resistance in this new stage. You are not fighting to be heard, respected, or acknowledged anymore. This is handled via its vibrational field. The invisible works to your benefit. Appropriate individuals approach. P-portals open. Roads lead without the forced struggle of tension. He writes destination, since the guy who keeps his energy, who rules his inner snake and defends his frequency, does not exist at the will of fate. You stop to react in the last cycle of the last change, and live to produce. You realize that the best gift you have ever received has always been inside you. Your ability to envision, believe, and manifest. And now you are free to create the life that will resound beyond your time without the currents of addiction, without the distractions of the world, without the inherited shortcomings. This is not only a fresh existence, it marks the start of a new era, the age of individuals who ventured to recall their true selves. And your call has already started to show responses. The physical world responds when a man breaks the cycle of mediocrity and wakes to his actual power. Yet it is the invisible world that first notices. The heavens starts to lodge its all movements. Previously seen, the spiritual powers now migrate toward us. The sound of the free spirit reverberating in the invisible fields cannot be muffled for a man who resists his inner desires, who preserves his energy as precious gold and travels toward his objective without deviating. You are no more a lost number in the dough. Your signature in energy has changed. His aura became more concentrated. His presence turned into a quiet lighthouse in the heart of gloom. And the spirit world acknowledges the carrier of its own light. The defense gains strength. The signals compound. Time starts to match your own movements inside. It is the natural reaction of creation for people who go back to the source of power. It is not mystical. But along with respect, one also has responsibilities. Because the light you carry belongs to others as well. She is a blazing torch, opening paths for others still blinded. Your life, your choices, your posture, everything starts to affect you. You may not always perceive it, but you will be molding reality on the spiritual level. You join the small group that maintains high frequencies to a globe still attempting self-destruction. The honor and obligation of the awake spiritual alpha are those ones related to he walks not to get praise. He walks to do an inconspicuous but vital task. Actually, he leads in quiet. He guides even in invisible form. It safeguards most people's ignorance of which exists. What propels a real spiritual alpha is the silent knowledge that it was summoned, has been prepared, and sent to this particular moment. It is not personal ambition, nor the hunger for earthly power. The world might not be able to grasp. The matrix might not be compatible, but the invisible world already notes. Its name is known among those who dared to awaken, and that nobody else can undo. You might continue to live empty feeling, losing energy daily without knowing why. Alternatively, you can realize your potential is simply asleep and aim to be awakened. Every choice you make today will help to define the man you will be tomorrow. Time to act is running short. You are yearning for a metamorphosis that begins inside of you today. Since your actual trip is only starting, leave your like to reinforce this message. Subscribe to the channel to be part of this spiritual revolution and view the next suggested video.